Hi everyone and welcome to this week's GuitarQuest lesson. I hope you're all keeping well and yeah, we are going to continue on from where we left off last week, which will involve doing a bit of a warm-up and then we're going to get stuck into the Bamba. We're going to go through that and then we're hopefully going to move on to some more exercises from GuitarQuest 3. So before we get stuck into that, just a couple of things to think about. So one would be if you've got any notification type devices on, social media, emails, that kind of thing, then best to turn it off if you can, so we can get our undivided half an hour's guitar time. What else? If there's any children in the room watching, then best to have an adult with them just to help explain some of the ideas, as some can be a little bit confusing at times. Other than that, that's pretty much it. We have the chat function going, so please do feel free to say hello and ask questions as we go along, and I'll answer them as we go or save a few for the end depending on what comes up. But yeah, what we're going to do is check our tuning first. We're going to start with our bottom E, so just try and make sure this is all sounding the same. So that's our bottom E a few times. A, which is our fifth string. Okay, and then on to D. And then G. And then on to B. Finally, our top E string. Okay, cool. So hopefully your strings sound the same as that. Obviously, you just want to adjust the pegs a little bit or machine heads to make it sound the same if needed. Remember as well, in terms of posture, whatever posture you're going for, just try not to let that guitar slide away from you, because you're going to have to work harder by bringing the hand round more, even though you can see the notes better, so it's a bit of a compromise sometimes, particularly to begin with, but we want to try and keep the guitar as upright as possible overall. So before we have a run through of La Bamba again, what I thought we'd do is have a bit of a warm up. So I'm going to throw something at you from GuitarQuest 3, and that is exercise 14. We probably won't do the repeat, we'll just go through it once, I think. So I'll just give you a second to find that. It's on page 10, Canadian Vista. It's got a bit of practice playing in the second position. All our F's and C's are played sharp. And other than that, it's just a sort of single note kind of tune. So hopefully something, something we covered a while ago, and hopefully something you can play. So let's give it a go then. So starting on that F sharp, after 4, here we go. So 3, 4. 2. Third line. And then we're just going to finish on the A there. So that's a bit of a recap, getting back into the notes. Hopefully that was okay. Appreciate we haven't spoken about that one for a few weeks, so if it was a bit tricky, well, I sort of apologise, but also it's good to push yourself and try some of these things. So yeah, so hopefully that's got the fingers moving on both the left and the right hand. And what we're going to do then is go on to La Bamba. Now the Bamba we've worked on for the last few weeks, so what we're just going to try is basically just try and play through it. There's a couple of options. So we talked about the F chord the other week. So I'll just talk about this again. So we're going to bar that first finger across the first 2 strings. So you're picking up the C and the F there. A with the middle finger, 3rd string 2nd fret, and then F 4th string 3rd fret. And we should get those notes out. It's quite a tricky one to get initially, and again we've spoken about this in over the last couple of weeks. And actually it is going to be more of a GuitarQuest 4 chord, so that gives you an idea. So we're possibly doing it a little bit early, but that said, if you're into your chord playing, then getting used to the F is going to be good anyway. But really what you want to try and do is not bend this first finger at that first knuckle joint. You've got to try and keep it straight. If you bend it, you'll lose the pressure on the first string. So try and keep that straight. Try and get these fingers over without slouching down on the other strings. Again, easier said than done. Just got to try and get them up on the fingertips whilst also keeping the pressure through the first finger. It's a tricky one. You do get used to it. You just have to persevere, unfortunately. So yeah, hopefully it's going okay anyway. And like I say, if not, just keep going. Like, you will get it, and it's often just comes down to like very, very small adjustments, like a millimetre or 2 in the finger position, and everything comes good. So so yeah, keep going with that. So what we're going to do is just look at the verse strumming idea at the bottom of the 2nd page of the La Bamba handout. So we've got the C, F and G. So we start on the C, which hopefully is a chord that you're fairly okay with now. So we're going to go down, down up on the C, change to the F, do down up, and then we change to G, we go up, up, down, up, down, up, down. So timing wise, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Again. Okay, so that's the strumming. If you want to have a go at that when we play through it, go for it. Otherwise, we can do the bit on page 1 where we just simplify it a little bit, and we're going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Or that bit at the end, we can change to a G chord, full G chord if you want, and that kind of thing. So again, we've spoken about this in the last week or 2, so hopefully there's nothing particularly new there. And what we're going to do is just dive into it. Just got to try and remember the structure. So we'll play the intro once. Then when we do the verse, we're going to play that first line. It says 6 times. We're only going to do it 3 times. Then we do the second line. And then we'll do the last line once. Then we'll go into the chorus. Then we'll go back and do that same verse structure again. And then I think we have the interlude, yeah. So, intro, verse, chorus, verse, interlude, and then we'll go back to the chorus and eventually finish on a C chord. So, I will talk us through it as we go. Hopefully that sort of makes sense. It should kind of sound like the song, just with the verses a bit more condensed down. So yeah, try and observe the rests as well, because that's where the music cuts out and you just get that sort of real vocal coming through, really strong vocal. So yeah, just remember as you finish, like, cut sound off and don't just leave notes ringing. But yeah, let's give it a go. So after, I'm going to count us in, so we're going to go just after beat 3. We'll take it nice and slow. I'll talk through the different structures as best I can, and we'll see how we go. So good luck, everybody. So we're coming in on the and after 3, and here we go. So 1, 2, 3. Rest, 2, 3 to the verse, 4. that line again. Then we're going to go to the second line of the verse. Rest, 2, 3, 4, last line. Do that again. One more time. Then to the chorus on page 2. Play that again. And a third time. Line of the chorus, rest, back to the verse, 3, 4. Play that line another couple of times. Second line of the verse, rest, 2, 3, 4, last line of the verse. Do that 2 more times, that last line. Last time. Go to the interlude now. Rest, 2, 3, back to the verse. And that line again. Last time. We go to the chorus. And again that line. Last time. Second line of the chorus, rest, 2, 3, we're going to finish on a C chord, and that is roughly La Bamba. So, hope that went well, and do let me know how you got on. Obviously when you play a song, whatever song it might be, it's usually quite relentless from start to finish. So I appreciate, it depends where you're at on your guitar journey. That might have been really straightforward, or maybe just the stamina of keeping going and, you know, not losing yourself in the music. And appreciate, I haven't written this out as like, you know, you start here, work your way down and just keep going. We were jumping around a little bit, which does make it a bit more difficult. However, it just gets the core information across, and then you can just kind of use that information and piece the song together yourself, or follow what we were just doing there, or we did the same kind of thing last week, probably a slightly different structure. Yeah, that's the Bamba. So cool, I just had a comment through just from sort of saying I just discovered the channel, so welcome to the channel. So yeah, this is sort of beginner's guitar course, so I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to sign up and you can get hold of the music and stuff, and yeah, hopefully join in each week. So that was La Bamba. If you've got any questions, please do fire away. But what I'd like to do is move on, so we're going to get back to GuitarQuest 3, and just kind of work our way through it really, or through the next exercise. And we might do a little bit of La Bamba again next week, perhaps as a bit of a warm-up. But overall, I think that's a tune, you know, we've done it for, I think, 3 or 4 weeks now, so I think we're ready to move on. At least I hope we are. So, okay. So, looking at GuitarQuest 3, page 16, this is basically where we got up to before we started having a go at La Bamba. So, for anybody new here, GuitarQuest 3, as the name suggests, we've worked through GuitarQuest 1 and 2 as well. Oh, just another quick thing. Could I record La Bamba separately? And yes, I will do that at some point, and I'll pop a version online on my YouTube channel and share it around, so you guys can play along. And we'll go sort of, I'll play it at that kind of speed, so it's hopefully not too challenging. So yes, so GuitarQuest 1 and 2 is all about learning the notes on the 6 strings basically, and then GuitarQuest 3 we started moving up the fretboard a bit, covering some slightly more challenging ideas, and the last one we got to was about playing up around the 3rd position and playing through chord shapes and that kind of thing, and I think it was a fairly challenging one. But you'll be pleased to know exercise 21, hold on tight, I think is a lot easier. But let me know what you think once we've had a go. So, if I just bring the music up onto the screen so I can talk you through a couple of bits. So hopefully you can see that. So we're going to be talking about power chords, and that is basically these 3 shapes here. So power chords are, I should say, they're not even really chords. A chord should have 3 notes in it really, and a power chord only has 2 chords in it, or 2 notes, sorry. But they're used extensively in rock playing. Yeah, they give a slightly heavier kind of sound, I think probably because they don't have the major or minor quality, so you can kind of go either way with the song in terms of the feel you want to get. So yeah, if I talk you through it, so the first one is E5, which is 5th string 2nd fret, and we're going to use our middle finger, and you're going to play that and the 6th string at the same time. And so really the only challenge with this, apart from getting your finger down, is to make sure you don't hit the other strings. If you strum the other strings, that becomes a different chord. That's an E minor 7, it's got a whole different kind of feel. So you only want to hit those 2 strings. And often, because these types of chords are used in kind of more rocky playing, it can be more of a plectrum guitar style, but we can still do them finger style. And so today when we play them, you can either just pluck with thumb and index finger, or you could do like a tiny strum, just use your thumb to go across the 2 strings. So yeah, so that's E5. A5, we're just literally going to move that across the string. So it's an open 5th string and a 4th string 2nd. And then D5 is just move across again, 3rd string 2nd fret, just those 2 strings. Obviously A5 and D5, again we just have to be a little bit careful because we don't want to be catching like the 6th string or anything like that when we're playing them. So you may find it easy to go thumb and index finger for now, or you can just kind of strum a bit as well, whatever works for you. Just in a comment here, just saying very beginner, give some tips on harmonizing melodies, classical guitar, no little chords but I can't use them well. So yes, I'll come back to that at the end if you don't mind. So I haven't forgotten, but yeah, we'll have a quick chat about that in a few minutes. So yeah, okay, so we've got our 3 chords, so we'll just try E5 together. So it's well, actually before we do that, the way to remember them is if you know your open strings, the lowest note has got to be the title note of the chord. So if we want to play E5, it's got to be the 6th string and then the next string over. When we do A5, obviously we want A to be the lowest note. Hopefully we would know that's the 5th string, so therefore we then can use the middle finger on the 4th string, and then when we go to the D5, hopefully we know the 4th string is D, and therefore we can get into that chord shape relatively comfortably. So that's that. Let's just try them together, make sure we're okay. So we're going to start off with an E5. Okay, so after 4. Okay, so 3, 4, just those 2 strings. Okay, and now we're going to try changing to A5. Okay, so 3, 4. And then we're going to try changing to D5. Here we go. So 3, 4. So they're all, like, in comparison to other chords, they're quite easy. So the thing is just making sure you don't hit the other strings. You know, and if you catch another one every now and again, it's not the end of the world. You just want to try and avoid them as best you can. So, okay, so I'll just bring the music up onto the screen again, so we can have a look. So yeah, I'm going to start on an A5. So I've got the chords written up here. We've also got the notation here, so this is just musically how it would be represented. 0, remember, is the open string, and the 2 is to use the 2nd finger. It does coincidentally line up with the 2nd fret, but that is only coincidence really for this particular one. So we start on A5 on beat 1, D5 for a beat, and then back to A5, and then that kind of thing repeats, and eventually end up on an E5. Here we've got a repeat mark, so we come back to the beginning, play through the first 3 bars. That's our first time bar, so we're going to jump over that, come down here and have a go at the second time bar, which is bar 5. So still the same kind of idea as up here, but we've just got these extra 3 notes at the end, which I'll talk about in just a second. And then when we come to this section, this is a more of a driving kind of rhythm, so it's just the same chord, but we play it, well, in this case 7 times in that bar, 7 in this, 8 here and 7 here. What you don't want to do is count to 7 though, as tempting as that might be. If you want to count it, try and count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then this one would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is just to help know where you are in the bar. Once you'll get a feel for it, hopefully anyway. You know, if you play it enough, you'll definitely get a feel for it, and then you won't probably need to count anyway. So. Then this section here is just the same as the first bit again. So, let me get that off the screen. Okay, so we're going to start with the A5. So if I just play a little bit of it to you. So we start here, so it's 1, 2, 3, then beat 4 we go to D5, and then we come straight back. Okay, so I'll do that again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, same pattern, 2, 3, 4, then over to the E5, 2, 3, 4, then we do it again, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then the second time bar, 2, and then we've got these notes here, so open E. I forgot to mention we've got a sharp in the key signature, which is our F sharp, so that's going to be 5th string 2nd fret, and then we've got G sharp, sorry did I say 5th string 2nd? I meant 6th string, apologies if I said 5th. So yeah, bottom E, open 6th string, then 6th string 2nd, and then 6th string 4th. And timing wise, that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we come into the strumming bit really, so it's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, then it repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then this next bit, same as the intro. So I won't go through that, we'll try playing it together in just a second. So hopefully that makes sense. If you've got any questions, do fire away. How I played it, just so you know, the first bit I went thumb and index finger, and when we got to bar 6, where it was kind of the more continuous notes, I switched to using the thumb just to strum those 2 strings. And a little tip for you if you want to try it, but don't worry if this overcomplicates it, is you can allow this finger to almost be a little bit lazy and mute that next string underneath. So if you're strumming, if you do accidentally catch that next string, then that's muted and therefore won't sound, and so will effectively make your playing sound cleaner. So like I say though, if that's too much, don't worry too much about it. There's all these kind of little things like that where you just sometimes, you know, when you get used to playing, you just allow your finger to be a bit, it's not even being sloppy, it's being quite clever with what you're doing, but it can come across almost as being a bit sloppy because it's like, actually I'm not getting that finger out of the way of the third string, but I'm doing it deliberately. So, you know, it's just something you could try if you want to anyway. So, okay, so let's give it a go. So we'll take it nice and slow. So after 4, from the beginning with all the various repeats, here we go. Good luck, everybody. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. D5. Back again to the A5. D5. 3, B5, E5. 2, 3, 4. Back to the beginning. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the second line, E, F sharp, G sharp. Now into our strumming. D5, E5. Back to the strumming a bit above. D5 and E5 again. And then the next bit, which is the same as the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the E5. 2, 3. Back to the repeat mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second time bar. And then we finish on the A5. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is just bring the music up onto the screen again. I'm going to press play on the tracks just so you can have a listen, and then see if you can play along with it at a later date. So this is how it should sound. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, cool. So that is Hold On Tight. So that backing track is available. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn that off. So that backing track is available on my YouTube channel. So if you go to the YouTube channel, scroll down a little bit and you'll see GuitarQuest 3 backing tracks, and it's just number 21. So there's 2 halves to it. So the first half of the video will have exactly what you just heard, and then the second half has basically the same but without me playing the exercise, so it's just sort of over to you to play it at that point. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Now, coming back to this question earlier, some tips on harmonizing melodies of classical guitar. So, you know quite a lot of chords, but can't use them well. So, it depends exactly what you mean by that. Oh, there's another question that's come through. I'll answer that in just a second. So, when it comes to adding harmonies to melodies on classical guitar, what you probably need to have an understanding of is the chords that you're playing and the notes that go into those chords, and therefore if you're playing a tune that fits within those chords or within the key that it's in, then you can start finding other notes that work, because for example, if the tune, say it's over an A minor chord, is going C, D, E, in theory, you could then, at the same time, E, F and G, and so you'd get kind of something like that, which isn't necessarily the best example, but it gives you an idea. And the way to kind of understand it, if you want to get into that kind of thing, I would suggest partly would be to go back and do the GuitarQuest course. So starting with book 1 and book 2, you learn all the notes. Then when you start thinking about chords, you'll start to understand the notes that are within the chords, because you know what they are. So for example, if you've learned the notes on the fretboard and you go, that's a C, you can look at it and go, well, I know that's a C, that's an E, there's an open G, then there's another C, then there's another E. So if you then had a melody and you wanted to add some extra notes to it to give it a bit more harmony, you could pick some of those other notes that are within the chords and add the kind of the character that you want that way. So I don't know if that answers that question particularly clearly or not, but hopefully it gives you some idea. So like if you want to get into that thing, there are different approaches, but the way this course has been put together is learning the notes, reading music and understanding everything from a kind of almost like first principles kind of thing. So that would be my recommendation. So see how you go. All those GuitarQuest 1 and GuitarQuest 2 lessons and all the backing tracks are on my YouTube channel, so please do feel free to check them out. If you've got any questions, obviously ask away as well. Now, the other question that came through, do you change the fingers plucking besides thumb, or do you always use the second finger? So in that particular exercise, when you're playing like this first bit, I would use the thumb and one of these fingers, index or middle. Personally, I go index finger. You don't have to, I suppose. But I would keep it steady. I wouldn't try and alternate the fingers. I mean, you could do it would be an exercise in itself, but you're not really going to gain a huge amount by doing that, I don't think. Primarily just because you want your chords to be consistent, and when you're playing chords, that's one thing. You know, when we've talked about alternating the fingers when we're playing melodies, that's kind of just a different thing altogether, and so we want to be doing it then, but not necessarily here, I think. So so yeah, hopefully that answers that, and that is going to be a good place for us to finish up today, I think. So as a bit of a recap then, what we're going to do next week is we'll probably have a play through the Bamba again, and we'll use that as a bit of a warm-up, hopefully. So if you can get on the lesson at 6:15, if for example, if you find the F chord difficult or any bits of it, just if you can sit for a couple of minutes before we even start just playing it, that will help when we come to do that. And then other than that, we'll go back over exercise 21 and we'll push on, do the next exercise and whatever else follows after that. So I'd say that's a good place to finish up. That's what we'll be doing next week. So remember, if you want to make good progress, you want to be practicing 4 or 5 times a week ideally, or even more if you can. That would be perfect. As probably said before, like half an hour a day used to be the advice, so if you can find that sort of amount of time, then that's perfect. As I mentioned, backing tracks are all available on my YouTube channel, so do check that out. If you enjoyed the lesson, please give it a thumbs up. If you feel confident, feel free to record yourself playing and tag me in it, and yeah, be really interesting to see how you get on. So that's pretty much it, really. So I wish you all the best luck with the practice. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you next week, which is 3rd of July, I think. Usual time, 6:15 p.m. UK time. So take care, everybody, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye bye.